I've graded over 2,000 TOK essays, and I'm here to give you the most important thing you need to know, whether you're starting or you're about to turn in your draft. Let's get an A.
Get an A in TOK.
I'm going to jump right into it. I'm not going to give you my whole spiel about how I offer all of these resources and how I'm the #1 TOK tutor in the world. You already know that if you're watching this video, but so many people around the world have sent me their essays. Yesterday, I realized I have graded over 2,000 TOK essays, whether it's from Fiverr, where you can send me your essay, whether it's from being an examiner or as a actual teacher. Wow, that job sucked. So I realized I'm sitting on this gold mine, and so I went into ChatGPT, created a Python script, whatever that is. I don't even know what a Python script is. Yeah, I'm a noob. And I searched through every single word that has ever been sent to me. Now, I did not do this for May 2026, so nothing I'm giving you right now is gonna mess with people who have already worked with me. And I got this crazy spreadsheet with, look at this. And some of this is citations. Some of this is we don't need this, like HTTPS, whatever this is, but it's a spreadsheet with 46,000 different words that were used. Now, that doesn't help me. So what I ended up doing was getting rid of some of this. And what is a pollard? A jam? I don't even know what some of this stuff is, okay? So I went through this and then edited it down to just what the pieces of evidence are. I got rid of words. I just bumped my microphone. I got rid of words like the and of, and I started to go through everything that was an example. The best examples and the worst examples, everything's in here. And what I did was I created a word cloud. And I'm gonna show you this word cloud right now. I'm gonna tell you what the best examples are, but I'm also gonna tell you what the worst examples are, because anything on this list, especially these ones I'm covering up right now, you don't wanna use them ever. And I say it every year, and clearly everyone ignores me, okay? So let's jump in. The #1 most overused example in the TOK essay, you know what it is. It's COVID, okay? Everybody uses it, and this is gonna become a recurring theme. Why did everybody use COVID? Why is it so overused? Because everybody has a COVID story. Nobody has to do research to talk about COVID. We all read something in the newspaper. We all had someone that did this or knew someone that did that. And if you don't want to research, there's kind of a hint in there. If you don't want to research, you write about COVID. So that's #1. Now, #2 actually really surprised me. #2 was DNA. Now, I don't necessarily think DNA is something you shouldn't talk about in the TOK essay. It actually really works because there's a bunch of different examples that you can use with TOK and DNA. TOK, DNA. I talked with someone today who calls it TOK. Do you call it TOK or TOK? I don't really know. I call it TOK, but I think the Aussies call it TOK, which is weird. Hi, I'm not going to say the nice young woman's name who I zoomed with this morning, but I can also zoom with you. So if you want to talk about DNA, don't just say DNA exists or DNA works like this. Go into one of the stories of people who discovered it or the people who are credited in discovering it. Don't just talk about DNA exists and Watson and Crick found them. Everybody knows that. And that's why this is the second most overused example. Everyone knows about Watson and Crick. We all were in 8th grade science class. You don't have to research. So if you don't want to research, we're doing COVID, we're doing DNA. #3, you probably know this one too. This one really didn't surprise me at all. #3 most overused example is Einstein. So why do this is just like a repetitive video. This would get like a 5 on the TOK exhibition scale. Why are we talking about Einstein? Because we know about Einstein. We know his theory of relativity, that everybody agrees with it. And I don't really know what it is, but I know enough from Wikipedia that I can write about it. So if you don't want to research and you want to do physics, or I think that's physics, yeah, people are writing about Einstein. So I would just say, DNA is probably okay if you do it well. Skip anything with Einstein, because that terrible person in Singapore, no, there's no terrible people in Singapore, Merlion. Those terrible people in the United States, they're just going to write Einstein and they're not going to research it. So you don't want to be associated with the people who are coming up with terrible and under research, under quoted examples. Okay, #4, I have been saying since the year 2020, you don't write about this ever. It's connected to COVID and it's the vaccines. Don't write about vaccines because, first of all, the people who are denying them, they're not experts and they're not scientists. We only want to be writing about scientists when we're in the natural sciences. We want to be quoting scientists. We want to be quoting their research papers. So don't talk about anti-vaxxers because they're not an expert. They really don't matter. And if you're an anti-vaxxer, sorry, your perspective doesn't matter. It's stupid. So when we're talking about vaccines, we all have an experience. We all have something we did. We have a documentation. We have all this stuff. It was a big controversy. So we don't have to research. And that's why people are doing this, because everybody knows it and they don't want to do any research. Okay, this one was very interesting. I got to move my little thing right here. This one surprised me and also didn't surprise me. And this is why you need to watch this video so that I can help you understand this. Number 5 is the word classical. Classical? Classical music? No, this is about classical economics. I think we've got some other economics things here. Supply side, so supply came up, Keynes, John Maynard Keynes came up, neoclassical right there. So if you add this up with this, supply side economics, supply and demand, neoclassical, classical, and Keynes, this might have been number 1 when you add all of these together. So why is this overused? This is a little bit different because this is the first thing you learn on the first day of econ. And you're like, oh, I don't have to study if I just talk about what I did in econ. And then they put it in there. And no offense, you're not that smart because you know who Keynes is. Everybody knows who he is. You're not that smart because you know about supply side economics, supply and demand curve. Everybody knows about that. So if you want to talk about that, first, don't. If you still want to, get a quote, read something, look at a study, but you want to figure out what there is behind that you, I don't know, didn't learn the first day of econ. Now, I skipped a couple of other ones because I want to keep this short. I'm not sure that Theranos should be up here. Miasma, I've made that one really, really popular for my YouTube channel. Everybody talks about Galileo a lot. Please just drop it. And then similar to Jesus Christ and, hey, there's Trump. Different. Oh, yeah. So Galileo and the Catholic Church, don't do that. It becomes a rant. I know every high school kid hates the church. That's cool, but that doesn't mean it turns into a good research paper, okay? Number 8 and number 9 are my personal least favorite slash what I talk about every year. Don't talk about Hitler and the Nazis and the Holocaust. Where's Hitler at? Hitler's here somewhere. I can't. Oh, wait, Hamilton's there? That's kind of funny. Hitler, no, that's Trump. Hitler right there. So Hitler, Holocaust, Nazis, so common again because we don't have to research. Now, I was Zooming with a student from Germany today, and I said, your perspective is different. And this is how we get into making things good. What is a good example? What is a unique example? I said, as a German, you have a very unique perspective on how I think we were talking about the causes of World War II, for example, how that comes up. Because his perspective is different than mine as an American. If you are Jewish, you have a different perspective as well, and you can look at those viewpoints. So in all of these, no, I'm sorry, in some of these, you have an opportunity to look in a unique perspective. But when it comes to COVID, when it comes to DNA vaccines, everybody's saying the same thing. If you want to talk about certain things about the Catholic Church, for example, that's great. Just don't talk about it with Galileo. Now, NASA's here. Talk about NASA. There's a million different things that we can talk about with NASA. Banksy, about the same 2 or 3 examples come up. So don't just say Banksy did this and it's cool. I need to know what's unique about Banksy as opposed to other artists. Here to go with DNA, we got Watson, and Crick. Penicillin comes up a lot. It's a fringe example. I wouldn't use that. And then the most important things we don't want to use in human sciences are Milgram, the Stanford experiment. We just don't want to use those because a lot of people use those because they're the first thing we learn in psych. So what do we do to come up with a unique perspective? There's a couple of things that I tell everybody. First of all, your goal is to stand out. So many people use my channel, but I don't give any answers in my channel. I push you in the right direction. So go down the routes that I've shown you in all of my other videos. Check them out in the description and then read it and come up with your own lesson. That's what I say instead of analysis. Come up with your own lesson. Come up with your own insight, your own cause and effect relationship. Think about what you learned from the way that example answers the title. what you learned about the way that the example answers the title. Then secondly, and this might be more important to be honest, if you're German, talk about German things. If you're Malaysian, talk about Malaysian things. I don't know why so many of these things are American and Western when most of the people I talk about are from Asia. I talk to are from Asia in the Middle East. Talk about the unique things going on in your political situations, in your parliamentary way of parliamentaring. I don't know. There's no reason we need to talk about Donald Trump. There are terrible politicians all around the world, okay? Choose your terrible politician. Just leave Trump to all the Americans. He's a big enough problem of our own. But there are so many things in your country that can teach us about political science. There are medical things happening in your country as well. If you do that, you can guarantee that 95% of the IB students won't be using your example because they're all from different countries. Finally, the most important thing, whether you choose COVID like a noob or whether you choose something that's not on here that nobody else has done, you have to have quotes. You don't want to use a generic quote from a quote website. You want to find the academic article by the expert and quote from that article. No matter what you do, you want to quote the article. So let me know what you think here. Did you use some of these already? Do you need to change some of your examples? I really like this. Let's chat down in the comments. I hope that TOK sucks a little bit less than it did at the beginning of this video. I'll see you next time.